Share this. Hey guys.
What's up, guys?
Give us just a sec.
Donna is now, or just sharing this post. And if you're on here joining us for the live stream, just share this because we're going to be, we're going to be sharing some stuff today. And so obviously, you know what's going on around the country today. So we've got done watching something that just blew our mind. And so it was shared with us. And we want to get you information to where you can watch this because you can't watch this anywhere but in a certain place. But just know, I think things are just crazy. That's all I got to say. Just crazy.
But in a good way.
In a good.
If you're okay with a little crazy, and comment below where you're listening from, where you're tuning in from, what state. And we want to say hello and pray for you. So if there's any way that we can keep you in prayer, please let us know as well. Now, I am definitely wanting to share a couple things. I think that it's interesting that long before we even have, you got to understand, we're in a camp nowhere.
USA.
Yes. And so a lot of times when you're traveling in a camper, shout out to my RV life people, they can tell you internet is a joke. Like, you can't find good internet. I don't care what you pay. I don't care what amount of money you have. I don't care if you have a phone that you can connect to. I don't care if you've got the latest this, that. It doesn't work. I don't know what it is about RV living. It's almost like we're kept under the radar. And I think actually it's a God thing. But so there's some things we've been getting. And obviously the cool is a lot of it's only God, because the downloads we're getting are not through the internet. Let me say that again. The downloads we're getting are not through the internet. If you knew how much we fight tooth and nail just to have connection, then you probably understand why you hear us going in and out on some of our videos. So thank you guys for letting us know. For Spectrum or all that other good stuff. Well, it says my connection is unstable. How hilarious is that? But my connection in the spirit realm is totally stable. So let me share with you the download I got long before I ever watched this, which is in the Gospels. Matthew 4, Mark 4, Matthew 8, and Luke 8. Okay, so first I want to ask you to like, subscribe, and share. I'm gonna give you guys time to like, subscribe, and share this with your friends, because I do know that this is, I think it's going to be a totally unique way of looking at things, which is only the Father. I mean, he absolutely has fun, unique way of just giving his kids hope and sharing excitement with them in times where it looks like total chaos. Storm is brewing, and is he gave us? Oh Lord, have you forgotten your kids? And I'm just, it's hilarious to watch how he does things. But yeah, so you've gotten those scriptures. So as you see in the question here, we don't even have to say the word. It's in the scripture. So Jesus was in the boat, asleep, resting. Now, it's interesting how this scripture has been literally massaged my mind from our mentors through, whether it was a her voice or a drenched or being in San Diego, or calls from Chrissy McGuyan, or I could go on and on from a lot of our mentors that we have been so lovingly encouraged and growth tracked from for years. And one of the biggest things that they've taught us is how to be still, rest, and know in the storm. How to trust the Lord, how to even sleep in the middle of the boat when everything else is going on. And so I'm just encouraged because I was just resting, Sabbath, chilling. And the Lord was like, I was getting major hits on my messenger too, which I rarely look at. So it gives me time to, like, especially when I'm resting, I just won't go there. So I apologize. Sorry, not sorry. If you send me stuff and I'm resting, I am going to rest and pay attention to my Jesus time and my husband. And then when I'm able to go back to that, that's what I do. But he came to me and he was like, you know, Donna, what did Jesus rest on? What did I rest on? What did I rest on when I was in the boat? And I'm like, I looked it up and I said the word. Oh, you rested on a pillow. How funny you are, Lord. How cool is it that you clearly have and then it was like,
because the interesting thing, as he was resting on this pillow, there was a storm brewing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and that's crazy.
Yeah, so that's absolutely correct. There was a storm brewing, and here everybody is in the boat, totally chaotic, freaking out, thinking that God's forgotten them, you know, and they're saying, Jesus, you know what to do. Why don't you ask the Father to chill it out? Why don't you ask him to? And what does Jesus say? Well, like, are your arms broke? Is your mouth broke? Is your voice dead? No. And so I just think it's interesting, though, that he, in all his sense of humor and love, asked me this morning, what was my son resting on? What was he resting on? And I'm sitting there going, you're hilarious. You know, you are hilarious. You're making it a point here. So I want to ask you guys, what are you resting on? What are you resting on? I think it's so cool that a lot of you are buying those, by the way. Keep doing that, because I totally agree. I can't get enough of helping celebrate and support those that are making
Fighting
sure that,
for our country.
yeah, they are. They're fighting for our country. They're having a voice. They're
regardless if they're getting attacked or not. You know, there's certain people that we know,
yeah,
that owns a company who sells what Jesus slept on, and it's interesting how that person gets attacked, and you know that government tells that certain social media site to block them or ban them, or it's amazing.
Yeah.
So keep doing that. That's the way we can support each other. Support the fight of what's going on, especially as times progress. We know it says that church will continue to be persecuted, but count it as a joy that when we do get persecuted, because we know we're doing right, we're stepping on the right toes, which will pray and act and use the fight in any way that you can, any way the Lord leads you to do that. So
the other thing was, a long time ago, we know that in previous administrations that the cybersecurity was shot. I mean, we know that. I mean, people are worried about the border. They're worried about the wall being erected. Hey, the wall that should have been concerned about was shot long ago. It was tore down long ago.
And people don't even know that we're in a war right now. We're in a cyber war, a cyber battle, and we don't even know. And we know that one of the tactics of the enemy, our spiritual enemy, is to convince people that he doesn't even exist, or he doesn't even, nothing even to be worried about. And so so when we don't know that there's actually an enemy that's attacking us, what are we going to do? Nothing, because we don't know that we're being attacked. And so that's why it's important, like Donna's saying, it's like we should have our focus on what is being attacked. Where are we being attacked? You need to be aware of where the enemy is attacking you and where he's attacking our country. And so we all know that there was a huge attack that happened in the fall months. And so obviously you guys are picking up why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But in the fall months, we know as America, we were attacked cyberly from all countries around the world, agendas, and people who are in our country who have specific.
They've been attacked cyberly for years. We just don't know it. You know, a lot of times when I am watch files, you guys. At first, Tim was a little concerned, just a joke, but we realized, okay, hello, it's really cool to see how hard these police officers work in pulling up cold case files, old files, things that have been dead 20 years, because the Lord is putting a burden on their heart to really go back and not stop, say, you know what, my voice doesn't matter, or this voice doesn't matter that's in this box and no longer has a life, even when they're 2 years gone. And it's it's cool to see how the word stands of the Lord, that your blood will cry out. Your blood will cry out of your brother you have slain. So I love watching. It's really cool. It encourages me to see this stuff, because he'll use somebody that has a connection with this person who has been so wrongfully murdered or stolen from or attacked. and he will bring justice. He always does. There's not one case. He always does. There's not one case. And I'm like sitting there going, wow, you know, the thing is, a lot of times it was somebody they knew, they let them in the house. They go, a lot of times they even leave their doors unlocked, or they open the door to them and not thinking they can trust them. Like, is this not parallel right now? But I've also seen where thieves will come in the house and unlock the back door so they can, and not tell them that they've unlocked the back door, so they can come later and tell other people that they've got connected crime, that they're planning, that the back door is unlocked. Go in there. It's real interesting that here we are looking at this stuff in our nation, and the back door's been unlocked on cybersecurity for years. This isn't like the first thing. This is for years. And I can't count the times that it got mentioned and then it got silenced years ago. And then we wondered why we had so many issues with a lot of our credit card identity theft. Oh, like this. Oh, that was just a single instance, or just your case, or just this person's case. And then it started popping up left and right up. So, it reminds me of Pastor Jensen's message when he the ministry of the moth. I think a lot of times you don't realize when the Lord's trying to send that moth right in your ear, and you're like, okay, ignoring it. Oh, I got hacked in my identity, still ignoring it. This is an issue than we realize. Bigger issue. Okay. I mean, then it went to banks, then it went to this. Now look where we're at. And it really didn't matter if it wasn't us. It just got real, yo. You got to absolutely wake up. And so I think it's interesting that for such a time as this, we hear that. But I'm telling you, I looked back and I was just reminded so often this past couple of months how important it was to remember this, and how much we learned when we were at Free Chapel, especially with them sharing pastors' messages on the Spirit of Python. If you guys don't know, look up the Spirit of Python book. Get it today from Pastor Jensen Franklin. You've got to read and understand that this is a spiritual warfare. There's only going to be one way this battle is won. I don't care if you give me 1 million documents, right? It seem to matter in our nation.
Which is sad. That's terrible. That's even terrible. It's terrible. That's even terrible. Hey, it's what our whole country was built upon. And so when people act and uphold, and it just doesn't matter anymore. That's when things are starting really, really scary.
Also share just some of the things that he also was giving to me just even a couple of days ago. I know that there's such a time as this. There's talking on Feast of Purim. And so I want you guys, if you have not looked up, that's another thing that Pastor Jensen taught a lot on.
Book of Esther. If you know anything about the book of Esther, it was the feast that Esther proclaimed, because there was a guy named Haman who was a queen of Persia at that time, and so she named Haman of all the Jews, and did all to declare declare decrees, and have the king Artaxerxes decrees and declarations that to kill the Jews, or to do certain things to the Jews, that way that it would eliminate and annihilate Jews and silence the Jews for even having a voice. And so,
sounds real familiar.
And interestingly enough, so the Feast of Purim is this whole fast that Esther instituted. Through her, the Lord told her to do this fast, and so they started doing this fast. And so the celebration is held this year on February 25th and goes through the 26th, is what I'm on in the book. It's interesting because Haman to kill the Jews, young, old, infants, and women in a single day. Literates of ancient Persians. Purim was thus named since Haman had thrown lots to determine when he could carry out his diabolical scheme, as recorded in the book of Esther. So it's interesting enough. Read this one. Anything?
Well, a couple of things. So and then I also want to talk about the Lord had shared with me in his just giving me some encouragement that the things we're battling won't even matter. Like he literally said that. He's like, they won't even matter. Like, in other words, I've got these all taken care of. He's shaking on the heart, and will so they seem to be a tolling and exhausting climb, but now the journeys will look like they're fun to trek or even soar. So about that, he went on to the remnant. Those of them that knew they were qualified for a particular mountain may now use in a mountain they never have even touched in the previous era. But in this new era, they'll do so zealously and with great excellence, supernaturally.
Yeah.
It'll even shock them how like all their life.
Man.
That the remnants operating in these areas won't. Oh, I've heard all the trolls stand on that, but they will stand on that, but they will remain humble. It's in DNA. It's who they are. They don't have to be told to be courageous.
Come on.
They don't.
Yep.
But that's love. You're gonna let somebody stay there with fleas on them? No, you wash your dog. So anyway, they won't be told that to say, well, what about love? Love is their banner. Their hearts are in tune with the Father's alignments and assignments and are being handed out. And the warfare will be in abundance, but so are his tools. And those that have been equipped to use them will be doing so with precision of a cardiologist working in and through them, because God's the one doing it,
Amen.
The Father, not them. So I want to go back to the whole vaccine thing, because I know a lot of people are like, are we taking it? Well, listen, like, I am really shocked at the people. Unfortunately, sad too, because I do hear even our close friends that we dearly, they're telling us like to finish school. Some of these people have been in school for 8 years trying to finish their doctorate's degree now, and they can't even do that if they don't take the vaccine. That eventually they're going to have to. They are believing they're going to have to take it in order to finish their school year out.
Crazy.
So,
I read today in the VA newsletter, because I'm a veteran, that they have given over 1 million vaccines already, and so they have, what's the word I'm looking for? Bragged. That's the best way I can think of it right now. They bragged that they have the ability to give over 600,000 shots in every day. But they're waiting for these companies to make sure they can ramp up and produce all these shots and things like that. And people are just lining up, as they say. There's an 83% increase of people willing to take this shot now, because the numbers were staggering. I was looking at it earlier. It's like, these numbers don't even make sense. I mean, they said that they had so many different cases. I'm just trying to pull it up right now, but they had all these cases. Here it is right here. That had over 400,000 cases or something like that. Hey, let me pull this up. I can give you the actual numbers on this thing, because it was staggering. And it was still not enough to where you're like, that's not even something to be concerned about. And
a lot of times too, and I love our VA. Our VA has years of taking care of they're literally in my family, so take it very seriously.
Yeah, it says since beginning of the outbreak of COVID-19, 209,000 VA patients have been diagnosed with the COVID, and roughly 9,200, only 9,200% have died, which that's just only 5%. I mean, I know that's sad that people die. Don't get me wrong on that, but because any death is wrong, but it just says that 5% is why people are like scared of to take. I mean, do we know how many people who flew every day, every year?
5% is what was documented too. The documents could be wrong. I mean,
documentation is that, like, how of those 5% of people who died, how many that already had underlying issues, or how many were of the age of going to die and pass away anyway?
And I'm sorry, I don't trust a lot of documents.
So even that 5%, there's a skew in numbers that it just does not make sense of why that number would even make any people concerned that they should take a vaccine. So so that's saying also that 95% of the people who got recovered. 95%. That's what that says. 95% of the people recovered. people recovered. And so we're still walking around with these stupid face coverings that don't really do anything. That don't really do anything. So they're trying to make all these recommendations and mandates to keep these on our face all the time. And so there'll be a point where we have to stand up. And I know that Donna reiterated the book that we read that we were sharing about how to kill.
3 years ago, the Lord had me put, like, for about it the whole year, 3 years ago. Now, mind you, this is during the previous administration. So, hey, who we voted for in office was already there. Okay. We also voted for him this year, but
but you still won the election.
We won.
Prophecies
were correct. That's just stolen. So here we go. 3 years ago in the previous administration, he kept showing me, like, you need to tell people to get this book. And so I was totally telling people, you need to get How to Kill 11 Million People by Andy Andrews. And you still need to get, you guys need to wake up. Yeah. Like, you need to read it.
There's a war going on you don't have nothing about. And we can't just be so docile as Americans, as Christians, as whatever, to let people just snow us over with what actually happened, or trying to get us to use fear tactics to control us. And you can't.
Yeah. And so me and my friend were talking this morning too. And she was saying, like, standing next to me when they're telling you to get in a boxcar, not fought in the foxhole. Don't, because you're a liability for us. And we're not playing anymore. Like, you got to wake up. You got to wake up. We totally trust Jesus, but even Jesus flipped tables, and even Jesus he rested his head during a storm. And this is what it looks like to love with a voice. Okay. Yeah. Why didn't you guys, we hear a lot of people say, we hear a lot of people saying, why are Christians doing this? Or why are they not saying anything? Why didn't they stand up? Why didn't you? Like, why didn't you?
Wow.
You know how to do this. You've got a church. That was the other thing. Like, I hope you guys go back and watch the video that the Lord had me share last year on gardens and churches. Because I'm telling you now, churches, like, if there is any time as now, I was floored, because a year ago I posted a video on here about the church being told by the Lord. It was so heavy on me, and I test the spirit a million times over. Troll all you want and say whatever you want, but I know when God talks to me. And he had said, tell them to use their land planting. And here we are hearing about someone who with IT influence is going to buy a ton of farmland.
Already has more farmland than anybody else.
But listen, I don't want him making my food. I don't want him growing my stuff.
Follow the money.
I don't want to change my DNA. Listen, I have the DNA of the Father, and I don't care who tries to know me under. It's going to stay that way. But I'm telling you, as a church, we have land. The Father owns all the land and the cattle on 1,000 hills. We need to start putting seed in the ground. Seed time and harvest. We literally need to start putting seed in our own ground. Literally, physically. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. We don't need to just tell other people to do it. We need to be that you want to see. Okay? So plant.
Don't go hungry.
Don't go hungry. Please don't go hungry. There's so much opportunity where we can actually shift these things, because there's so much opportunity of how much kingdom land there is. So don't forget who owns more land than anybody else. We do. The
bride of Christ.
We do. We really do. I can just point to a ton of churches in Gaffney, South Carolina, and tell you there's tons of land. There's tons of land that we own. Let's make sure we put it to use. Okay. So I don't know, I don't, do we love people?
We love people.
We love people with the compassion of Christ.
We love the hell out of some people.
We love the hell out of a lot of people. I'll speak for myself on that one, but I'm telling you now, I don't care if you're my friends, don't take offense. But if you're going to sit there and be negative on our social media channels, we are going to delete, block, change, hide, unfriend, do whatever we got to do. But these are our eye gates. These are our eye gates. These are our ear gates. This is our voice. No one's changing that. our own website. Nothing's changing. So what we would hope you do is take it back a couple of steps and remember that we love you guys. And because we want to protect this house, we want to protect, and you guys want to protect the house too. So if you're wanting to model how to protect this house, just know that we are not going to sit down, shut up, back up, or apologize for what we believe in. And nor are we going to make you on your own pages and social media channels. So don't come to ours doing that, because I don't care how much blood is in us. The blood of Jesus is actually going to say, look, you have a voice. I want you to know that I've given you a voice so you can roar. I'm not laughing at hyenas anymore. So we love you guys. We want to empower you to speak too.
Amen. We
want to empower you to speak up. Don't let the hyenas cause you in the ground.
You have a strong voice.
You do.
You are empowered by the Holy Spirit, who's giving you words and knowledge, words of increased ability. And so use that voice.
Use it.
Use that voice.
Use it. Make sure that you
don't let them shut you up.
Make sure that you share this video. Make sure you send it your friends to the channel to subscribe. We love you guys. We know that God has this. We know that no matter what shaking comes, he's got the whole world in his hand. The whole world in his hands.
There's over 70% of people who claim they're Christians in this country. Time to rise up.
Time busy. Love you guys.